ESC guideline on mental health and CV disorder, and for that we invite Dr. Bhupendra Verma, a senior intervention cardiologist. Dr. Bhupendra Verma.
Good evening, everybody. And once again, I will thank anything, knowing that psychological factors are as potent risk factors as conventional risk factor for cardiovascular disease. The odds ratio is almost same from the inter-heart study. So definitely there is something to be done to these psychological factors, and there is significant gap in the diagnosis and management of these patients. The ESC guideline has done a very good job in this way. They have tried to raise awareness that there is multi-directional relationship between them. They have advised to make a psychocardio team where the psychologist and cardiologist work in collaboration to provide integrated and better service to these patients. And they have provided many simple tools for screening of these patients, which even cardiologists can do. And there is some simplified treatment approach which can be applied. Now, coming to the mental health, according to WHO, mental health is a state of mental well-being, and this is a whole continuum starting from a good mental health to some patients with having mental health condition where there is psychosocial difficulties. And among these patients, some patients will have mental health disorders like anxiety, depression, and PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder. And among these patients with disorder, there will be some patients with severe mental illness, that is schizophrenia, major depression, and bipolar disorder. So it is important to identify them, and this is a whole continuum starting from a good mental health to a severe mental illness. Now, how do they interact? First thing is that positive mental health leads to a better CV health, there is no doubt. And mental health conditions, they have a higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Additionally, cardiovascular disease, they can worsen or trigger the new mental health problem. And more than that, coexistence of cardiovascular disease and mental health, they interact with each other and worsen both of them. So there is a multi-directional relationship where both of them are deteriorating each. Now, this slide shows there is ample evidence that negative psychological factors, depression, anxiety, stress, and anything, they have a huge impact on the cardiovascular disease. And positive psychological factors like optimism and sense of purpose, happiness, mindfulness, they are very positive for decreasing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Now, what happens? There are both behavioral and biological process which leads to this effect. Behavioral is that patients with depression and anxiety, they are less likely to follow healthy lifestyle, and biological processes like there is activation of sympathetic system and autonomic nervous system, inflammation, and many other factors which lead to the increased cardiovascular disease. So this is the core of ESC guideline for treating these patients. Please try to form a psychocardio team in your local area, because this gives a structured pathway for screening, referral, and treatment. And after forming a psychocardio team, always follow active principle, that is, first acknowledge that there is a relationship between both of these disease and they both can worsen each other. Acknowledge this, then check for the symptoms of mental symptoms in the patient with the heart disease, and also the symptoms of heart disease in patient with mental health disorder. Then use simple tools to screen these patients, then implement the evidence-based treatment in this patient, and also venture out to change the system where the mental health and cardiovascular health can be done in a unison, and evaluate the need for further educational support and thing. So active principles should be applied in this patient for a better care. Now coming to cardiovascular risk in patients with mental health disorder without known cardiovascular disease. So as we have talked that psychosocial stress factors, they are as a potent risk factor as conventional risk factor. According to the Interheart study, you can see that there is almost similar odds ratio to the psychosocial factors, which can be work stress, which can be impaired social relationship, which can be socio-economic stress or loneliness. And then there comes mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and PTSD. They increase the risk of cardiovascular events, and screening of them is very important. Now coming to mental health conditions in the patients with established cardiovascular disease, depression is present in nearly 18% patient of cardiovascular disease, which is higher in women, and it is associated with negative lifestyle, bad lifestyle, and it significantly impairs the prognosis, so much so that in post-MI patient, if there is depression, the mortality increases by 22%, the cardiovascular events increases by 13%. In heart failure, there is 2 times higher mortality. The adherence to medication and rehabilitation is very less. Similarly, in the PTSD, there is a risk. Now, those who are living alone, they have increased risk of CV event and all-cause mortality, which is 3 times more in the women and 2 times more in the men. And all the guys who are married, good news for you that marriage is linked to lower cardiovascular death and events. Anxiety has a very high prevalence of nearly 30%. 1 in 3 patients they have anxiety, and they have also a poor prognosis, and they have decreased adherence to medications. Along with that, also look for distress in the patient's caregivers, because caregivers of these patients are already in distress. Nearly third of the caregivers may be in distress. So always try to listen, reassure, assist, encourage, and refer to the psychologist if required. Now coming to the identification, prevention, and management, which is very important, I have simplified the guidelines quite a bit for our use. Screening, who will do the screening? Multidisciplinary psychocardiac team member, including the cardiologist and the psychologist. Anybody who knows the screening method can screen these patients. When to screen these patients? Whenever there is new cardiovascular diagnosis or new event, or periodically when the patient is followed, at least annually this can be screened, because anxiety or depression may appear later on in the course of the disease. And whenever clinically indicated by the physician, if physician thinks the patient is deteriorating, definitely they should screen. And screening is very simple. How it should be screened? There are 2 item questionnaire which are developed and very well validated for depression and anxiety. First, screen with those questionnaire. If they are positive, then go for a extensive GAT7 and PHQ9 tools. Confirm it, and then stratify the disease according to mild, moderate, and severe disease. If there is mild symptoms, nothing has to be done. Simple lifestyle modification is enough. If there is moderate to severe depression or anxiety, please refer the patient to psychiatrist. So this is how the timing of the screening is done. For information, the PHQ2 questions for detecting depression, they are very simple. They can be very easily incorporated in routine clinical practice. The 2 questions are: ask them over past 2 weeks how often they have been bothered by any of the following problems, like having little interest or pleasure in doing things, feeling down or depressed. If any the score is more than 3, refer to a PHQ9 full study. Similarly, GAD2 questionnaire, feeling nervous, anxious, or not able to stop worrying. If there is 2 or more score, they should be sent for a higher GAD7 scoring system. Always follow a stepped care model where, according to the severity of the psychiatric illness, the disease should be treated. If it is mild, even the lifestyle measures and psychoeducation is enough. If it is severe, always involve a psychiatrist for the treatment. Psychological interventions, we don't know much about it, but at least you can do psychoeducation, which is very simple and which can be done in all the patient, even by the cardiologist also. It is simply structured knowledge transferred about an illness and its treatment. It can be imparted to the patient, and it can definitely decrease the anxiety in these patients. Applying psychological therapy, which is the part of psychologist and psychiatrist, cognitive behavior therapy, exposure therapy, and social prescribing, which are specific treatment given by them. Lifestyle intervention, very important in all the patients. Promote physical activity, change the dietary pattern, smoking cessation, teach them stress management, and improve the sleep hygiene. Now coming to the pharmacological management, as I have discussed, for the mild patients, there is no need to offer any medication, just psychological support and lifestyle modification is enough. If there is moderate to severe on the scoring system, refer to them to a psychiatrist consultation. Now, after all this association, we know that psychosocial factor they are causing, they are as important as a conventional risk factor for cardiovascular disease, but the results of medical intervention is very inconsistent. Only in patient with ACS, there have been some studies which show that treating these patients with depression and anxiety leads to some decreased repeat hospitalization and decreased recurrent MI. But in the patients with heart failure, if you are using antidepressant, there is increased risk of all-cause mortality. So all the patients of heart failure, if they have depression, it is not good to start antidepressant. It will increase the mortality. Only in those patients where the depression is very very severe, send the patient to psychiatrist, and the dose should be very minimum to not to affect the mortality. Now as I have discussed, antidepressant is the first line for all, whether it is depression, anxiety, or PTSD. Anxiolytics, sedatives, hypnotics, they all have been shown to increase the mortality, and they should not be used in the patient with cardiovascular heart disease. Always try to use antidepressant, and it is better to use newer antidepressant like SSRI and SNRIs. Other drugs are to be avoided, and among the SSRI, most evidence is available for sertraline, which is the first line choice for these patients, and other SSRIs, fluoxetine and paroxetine, can be used, but they are second option because they have more drug to drug interaction as compared to sertraline, which is very safe. It is once a day dosing. Starting dose for depressive disorder is 50 milligram once daily, and anxiety it is 25 milligram. Each week you can increase by 25 milligrams increment, and the maximum dose is 200 milligram, and the most of the patients will respond to this treatment. Coming to severe mental illness, which is the domain of psychiatrists, recurrent major depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, all these patients have very increased risk of cardiovascular disease. They should definitely be referred to psychiatrists for further treatment. Why? Because they live approximately 14 years to 18 in male female, nearly 10 years less than the general population, and all cause mortality is 2.5 times higher, and the risk of coronary heart disease and severe mortality is 2.5 times higher. But the best thing is that unlike depression, anxiety, and other disorder, treating them with antipsychotics are protected against all cause mortality. So mortality can be decreased with antipsychotics. So these patients need to be identified and need to be referred to psychiatrists, because this is going to decrease the mortality. The the management aspect, raising the awareness for identify this patient. They have modifiable risk factors like weight and obesity, hypertension, hyperlipidemia. This can be treated. Reinforced lifestyle modification. Always promote the adherence of psychotropic drugs, because we know that it will decrease the mortality, and there are significant side effects of this antipsychotic, so monitor for them. And medicine induced weight gain is very common with the psychotropic drugs. For this, metformin is the drug of choice. uh, so the key message is, first is to acknowledge the link for everybody, cardiologist, physician, or psychiatrist treating this patient, and acknowledge that there is a definite and very important link between the both things, and they are multidirectionally linked to each other. Form a psychocardiac team to treat these patients. Follow active principle in practice to have a better cardiovascular care. Screen proactively. Screening is very easy. Two questionnaires are very easy to follow. And use a stepped approach where mild patient they are treated only on lifestyle, and the moderate and severe patient goes to the psychiatrist. And always prioritize the treatment of severe mental illness, because it has shown to decrease the mortality. So this is the summary which I have already discussed. Now, all this, if you have not listened to whole lecture, if you pay attention to just single slide, I have summarized what can be incorporated in on clinical practice directly. First thing is, all the patients of cardiovascular disease, please screen them for anxiety, GAD2, depression. PSQ2 questionnaire very easily available on every website. It is free of cost. Then, if it is positive, go for severity classification by GAD7 and PHQ9. If it is moderate to severe, send this patient to psychiatrist. Advise lifestyle intervention and psychoeducation in all patients. In mild cases, it is sufficient. In moderate and severe cases, treatment will be required. In the treatment also, try to refer this patient. Psychological interventions are important. In medications, antidepressants are first line for anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Avoid benzodiazepines and anxiolytics because they increase the mortality. SSRI is preferred, sertraline is first choice, but avoid any antidepressant in heart failure because it increases the mortality. And psychotics are to be given in severe mental illness because it decreases the mortality. Thank you.
Excellent talk by Dr. Bhupendra Verma. Only one question is allowed. If no question, then last batsman is Professor Sanjay Kumar, going to batting in slab over. Professor Sanjay Kumar, sir.
Asking some question.
Cause or effect of no, this mental illness is the cause or effect of this cardiovascular disease?
Yeah, this is a multi-directional relationship. The patient with psychiatric disease, they are less likely to follow the lifestyle factors, like they will be smoking more or drinking active habit, physical activity is less. First thing is that, and there is biological effect also, where the patient who are having anxiety and depression, they have increased sympathetic discharge, autonomic nervous system is very active, and then there is inflammation, a lot of factors which leads to the cardiovascular disease.
Most of the time relatives also they say you're having a cardiac disease, this and that, don't do this. So that also create a depression.
Yeah, AC has made a very good statement in that 2/3 of caregivers also have stress, so kindly give care to them also in the patients who are directly treating those.
Dr. Bhupend, drugs like alprazolam, clonazepam should not be advised in each and every patient blindly.
Yeah, because they are known to increase mortality. There is no doubt. There is definite evidence. Please don't give benzodiazepines, anxiolytics, or anything like that because they are increasing mortality. Only you can use in severe depression, and that is sertraline. That also not in heart failure patient. Only in cardiovascular disease, coronary artery disease.
And one other aspect, that is psychosexual aspect, especially in male patients post MI, that also need to be addressed or discussed
Yeah.
privately with each and every male patients.
That also
Because
comes under
majority of the
psychosocial.
times they are hesitant to discuss it or.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you Alok sir again. And I will like to make an important comment that I think this is one of the few conferences still remaining which has been purely academic. Otherwise, you know what is happening to other conferences nowadays. Thank you so much, and congratulations for organizing for straight 11 years. Thank you.